scaling in Kubernetes. Okay, so as the name suggests, scaling is increasing the number of CPU or increasing the number of pods, okay, or increasing the number of nodes or decreasing it based on certain conditions. That is scaling in Kubernetes. Okay, so when we increase number of pods, CPUs or nodes, that is called a scale up. Okay, and when you decrease number of CPUs, pods or nodes in a cluster, it is called as scale down. Okay, so there are three types of scaling. Okay, in Kubernetes, one is horizontal pod autoscaler, the second one is vertical pod autoscaler, and the third one is cluster autoscaler. In horizontal pod autoscaler, will define some threshold for CPU or RAM. Okay, and if that threshold increases, okay, suppose we have defined a threshold of 60%, that whenever the CPU reaches 60%, okay, load, automatically a pod should be added, and when this is called as scale up. Okay, and whenever the some certain CPU load goes below 60%, it should scale down to minimum pods, whatever is defined in the configuration. This is called as horizontal pod autoscaler. Okay. In vertical pod autoscaler, uh, instead of increasing the number of CPUs, number of pods, the number of CPU and memory will be increased for that particular pod. Rather than increasing the number of pods, the CPU and RAM for the actual pod will be increased. Okay, it is possible to restrict pods to use some number of CPU and RAM. Okay, that we can automatically manage using vertical pod autoscaler. Okay, in cluster autoscaler, instead of one or two nodes, okay, if the load on the whole cluster increases, it will automatically add or remove the number of nodes, that is the worker nodes. Okay, so this is all about scaling in Kubernetes. And there is one more method, the simplest method, increasing number of replicas. Okay, that is we can do manually as well. Like in the deployment configuration itself, we have an option called replicas. We can increase that replicas 1, 2, 3 or decreases as per our requirement. Okay,